Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about Roma, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and this is the same director as Children of Men. And that's a movie that I really love, and I was really looking forward to Roma because I've never seen it before, and now I have, and I think it's great. I think there's a lot to like about this movie, and there are some parts that don't work for me, but we'll get into that later. But in terms of what works for me, I would say that the acting is really great. I didn't find one bad performance, and there's really well written characters in this movie. And although I have some issues with one character, but we'll get into that character later on. But for the most part, I think the characters in this movie work, and I didn't have any issue with any of the performances, like I've already said. And where the story goes, I was interested where it was going. And at first, I thought it was really nice that it was a nice, simple story. That's what I was expecting. And most of it is, but then it kind of. But eventually, it gets a little too packed for myself. And what I mean by that is a few too many things are going on at once. And I would have preferred if the movie was pulled back. And what I mean by that is if it didn't have too many things going on. And the reason why I take issue with that is because I really enjoyed how it was just a nice, simple story and barely anything was happening. And I thought early on that that was going to be something that I would be praising, the simplicity of the story. And it kind of is. There are things that are simple about it, but there are more things going on as the story goes along. I think the characters in this movie are well defined, and I know things about them where to the point where I understand their motivations, and there's not a whole lot to them, but I think that works for the movie because it's trying to be as nice and simple for the most part. And you do feel as though the movie goes on for months, or basically a year, because that's what the story is kind of going around, without spoiling anything. There are parts in this movie where I was genuinely invested in the movie emotionally because of how things were presented, and I can't get into why because that would kind of spoil the movie. But I'll say this. The parts where I was invested in were at towards the end of the movie, and there was a couple parts early on in the movie where I was enjoying it, and there are things early on in the movie where little tiny things were being set up without me realizing that they were being set up, but I was able to pick up on them and realize, oh, these are just little tiny things that are being set up later on that will be reincorporated later on in the movie. And when they do get reincorporated, it's great. I would say the only part that I didn't really enjoy that much was there was a 10-second gap right in the middle of the movie that I just found to be kind of dull, and I didn't care about what was happening. And there's one character in this movie that I just didn't enjoy, and from the very beginning I knew that I wouldn't like him, and I didn't like him in the way the film was trying to make me dislike him. He was kind of, for me, unintentionally unlikable, and I get that they were also trying to make him unlikable at the same time, but I just found it to be predictable and stupid, and I just didn't care for it. But the rest of the movie is great. There are great scenes in this movie, there's great characters, and it's a nice, simple story. Well, it starts off nice and simple, but things are added on top of it, and it doesn't always work, but for the most part it flows really well. And originally I was leaning around a 7 out of 10 for this movie, but really thinking about it, I really would love to see this movie again, and if you haven't checked out this movie, I would highly recommend it, and I'm going to give Roma an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Roma down below, and my social media links will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that's going to be for Jurassic Park 3. And either directly after that or sometime within this week, I'm going to review Jurassic World. So look forward to all of those. But until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day. Yeah, he bit me. Look at that. Look at that. This is bite marks from this cat. Secret, what are you doing? What are you... Oh my... Ah!